In this video, I'm going to show you where to find your gradebook and how to interpret that gradebook. From within your course, go to that slide out menu up on the top left, click on that, and you should see Administration, Course Administration under that, and then Grades under that. There's a chance it might be minimized, in which case it'll look like this. Just click on the plus, pull it out. If that's minimized, you can click there, then select Grades. It'll take you over to your gradebook, and it looks a little bit different than it used to if you're used to the old version of Moodle. But for the most part, it remains the same. There's a few less boxes. It used to separate each category within its own little box. Now it just kind of indents it like you would see in an outline for a paper. So here you see we have the attendance and participation category, the in-class assignments category, reading and review questions category, etc. Then at the bottom of each, you'll see the total for each of those. What I want to draw your attention to are the titles at the top of each column. So the columns aren't separated by lines, but that doesn't mean they aren't columns. And the default setup will have a grade column, a range column, a feedback column, and a contribution to course total. But that does not mean that a professor won't change that and set up a different type of grade setup. For instance, you could have a percentage column. You could also have a category contribution column. So just make sure you look at that so you don't interpret these incorrectly. So you'll notice you have the categories and assignment names on the left, and then with the default setup, you're going to have your grade, which is a point value, and then the amount of points it's out of. So the range here is 0 to 100, so 95 would be an A, possibly an A+, depending on how the course is set up. And then to the right of that, you'll have the feedback column, where if the professor gave any feedback, just generic feedback, you'll see that there. If you want to see a paper that they resubmitted to you to look over, you'll have to go to the individual assignment, which you can do by just clicking on the assignment. And then this far right column is new for the new version of Moodle. It's contribution to course total. This shows you how much each individual assignment is worth for the whole course grade. So this 0.90% means the time management assignment for this class is worth 0.90% of the course grade. So if you failed that assignment entirely, then you would basically be down 0.9% of the course grade. So it helps you kind of recognize where you're at, how heavily something is weighted in the whole class. So that should help a little bit. But this is the basics. There are other setups you can have for the gradebook. For instance, there's a sum of grades. Aggregation is what it's called. The main difference with the sum of grades, it should still show you the grade and the range, but at the bottom of each category, it will basically count all of the assignments that you haven't turned in yet as 0. So it might look like your grade is you're receiving an F, when really it's just that it's adding those up as 0. You haven't turned them in yet. So you have to do a little more mental math to make sure that you are doing well in the class. But it should look very similar to this. It's a similar setup. It just aggregates, is that word. It aggregates everything you haven't turned in yet and counts that as 0%. In this video, I showed you where to find your gradebook in Moodle and how to interpret the gradebook and the grades that you have in there. If you have any questions, please let me know. You can find my email in the Need Help section from the homepage of Moodle. Thank you.